This is Flappy Bird, but in a lower dimension. Yeah, I know it looks kinda weird. So I created my own game, which is very similar to Flappy Bird, except it's in different dimensions. So I spent the last 3 weeks researching different dimensions and perspectives, and all that just to make this video. Alright, that's gonna be interesting. After almost 1 hour, I get the basic mechanics done, and well, we have a functional game with cubes. Yeah, it's fine. So let's create some models in Blender and import them into Unity. The bird in this prototype has an auto-functional jump mechanic, where it basically checks if there's an obstacle in front of it or not, and also checks the height of the bird, so it knows how and when to jump. The dimension you see here is the third dimension in the second perspective. So I asked myself, how would this game look like in other dimensions? And that's why we're here. So let's start with the lowest dimension, dimension 0. Dimension 0 is like a single point. It has no width or height, so just a root of all axes, basically. I don't know how a game would look like in this dimension, except that the color of the dot changes and you have to press a button based on that, or it's just a pure text-based game. Alright, the next dimension is the first dimension, or dimension 1. The first dimension has or is just a single axis, so we have objects that have only length but no width or height, so it's basically one line. This is what a game would look like in the first dimension, or we could represent that horizontally in this way. So if there's an obstacle, you just press the jump key and you jump. Yeah. The second dimension is where the original game takes place. Here we have an X and Y axis, that's basically everything you draw on paper. You can draw 3D objects on paper, but you're still in a 2-dimensional space. The most interesting part here is that we have 3 different perspectives in the 2-dimensional space. So we basically have the first person view, where you might feel the game is in 3D, but actually it's made up of 3D objects arranged at various angles. And your brain tricks you into thinking the whole thing is in 3D. The second person view in a 2-dimensional space is not defined yet. At least I didn't find anything about that. So I thought that the second person view must logically follow the grammatical approach, the you. So you also see yourself from the you point of view. Okay, that sounds weird. Basically the perspectives are based on I, you, and so on. So first person, I play me from the I point of view, second person, I play me from the you point of view, and third person, I play me from the third person view. Kinda. In the third dimension, we have almost the same thing that we have in the second dimension. However, we have one more axis here. Yep. So the objects have not only width and height, but also depth. Okay, so the next dimension is the fourth dimension. According to Einstein, the fourth dimension is an extended third dimension plus time. So a space of 3 and 1 time dimension build up the space-time continuum. So we have a 3D plus 1t. Yeah. I hope I'm right about that. Einstein did say that time is a separate dimension, which can't exist without any other dimension by itself. So these findings got me thinking, how can we represent the fourth dimension in a game? Well, you can't, at least not 100% correctly. Then I found a thing that is called a tesseract or hypercube. It is a mathematical abstraction that represents a geometric figure in, well, the fourth dimension. It's a cube within a cube, which can change its scale, rotation and position in every thinkable direction. And that's what makes it so interesting. Alright. I decided to code the tesseract. Okay, yeah, so here it is. Cool. So the fourth dimension in this game is a 4D representation of a tesseract as a 3D mesh on a 2D screen. Wow. Well, how this game looks in the fourth dimension is questionable. The game mechanics should be kept and basically nothing should be changed because it deviates from the actual game. And that's why I decided to create the tesseract. So let's jump into the game and see how it looks like. We start in the third dimension in the second perspective. After doing some jumps, we collide with that cube and transition to another dimension and perspective. So the jumping goes on and on until we collide again. Interesting. Well, that was my little experiment about dimensions and perspectives. I hope you enjoyed it, please, and could take something interesting from the video for yourself. Thanks for watching and, well, enjoy your day. See you in the next video. Bye. Bye.